One. Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, join us for an illuminating conversation where we're going to explore the remarkable journey of Body Balance System, the power of red light therapy, and the company's commitment to excellence and quality in the health and wellness industry. Let's get this one started. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life: prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Bros. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we have an inspiring guest, the founder and CEO of Body Balance System. Now, he embarked on a mission to help his daughter with a rare genetic disorder, leading to the birth of a groundbreaking red light therapy technology. In this episode, we're going to delve into his incredible journey of how his personal mission transformed into a thriving company dedicated to health and wellness. We'll also explore his innovation behind the OvationULT bed, which he's gonna correct me and make sure I get it right here in a second, and the most effective red light therapy and the most effective red light therapy solution in the industry. So let's welcome to the show, Mr. Micheal Londo. All right, Micheal, welcome to the program, my friend.
Hello, thank you.
All right, man, I want to start off with the first question I always ask, which is everybody who comes on the show is here to promote something, to talk about what it is they do. If you can explain it so that a fifth grader could understand it, what is it that you do?
We manufacture red light therapy beds. Red light is good for pain relief, muscle recovery, fat loss. It was developed by NASA quite a few years ago for use with the astronauts. Fat loss kind of was a side effect of what they were using it for, but probably around 10 years ago, it kind of hit the commercial market and has just exploded. It's really an amazing product.
Who's the ideal audience for this? Are we talking people who are just about to get into shape, athletes that are conditioning on a regular basis? Who's the target audience here?
You know, anybody in pain. Athletes for working out. It's a great, post recovery system. It'll help with pain relief before and after they work out. Again, fat loss. There's really anybody that has any kind of those issues. It's great actually for some skin conditions. Helps tighten the skin a little bit. Things like that. We're more focused on the pain relief and muscle recovery and fat loss.
Tell me a little bit about your background. I mentioned in the intro that you kind of stumbled upon this, like it was something that you were trying to fix for your daughter. Tell me a little bit about your background. How'd you figure this stuff out? How'd you get into this space?
Well, actually, so yes, my daughter was born without the instinct to breathe. It's a pretty serious thing not to be born with. So she spent her first 6 months in the hospital, came home. We basically had a mini ICU at home. We had 24-hour nursing, and that was life. Her mom and I, we felt very strongly about getting her out of the house as much as we could. But to get her out of the house, it was her and 120 pounds worth of equipment. So we would buy twin strollers, and they would last maybe a month to a month and a half. And I got tired of buying those, so I developed my own. It was kind of like a jogging stroller, but it had no rear axle, so we could put all the equipment down underneath. And so after I had developed that, going to hospitals and doctors' offices, they were freaking out, and people were telling us, you got to start a business and sell those. So in between that time, we moved from Seattle area to Orlando for her health reasons. And I'd met a guy down there. It kind of helped me a little bit with the development of that, more of the sales side of it. And then he introduced me to another guy. And then a couple of years later, that other guy called me up and was like, hey, I'm battling cancer. I'm doing it naturally, and I'm using these ionic detox foot baths as part of my treatment. He goes, I know you like to develop stuff, and he goes, you need to look at this and make these, but they're way too expensive. You know, if you can get them a better price and put them in the hands of a lot of people that could use them. So that was kind of how the business launched. That was in '04. I finally got the product to market about '05, about the middle of '05. And, you know, I did maybe $40,000 in sales. And towards the end of that year, I was like, huh, maybe there's a business here. So I built a website. And then in 2006, we did like 1.2. I mean, it exploded. And so through the business, in the times when the economy was crashing, there was the bank crash period, and a couple periods throughout the history of the business, I had discovered that our customers loved us. They loved our products. They had a lot of faith in us because we had a good product. So during those tough times, I would just start developing new products. And that's kind of what led to the red light. About 9 years ago, I learned about the red light and got into that. At the time, there was maybe a handful of us making them. Now I couldn't tell you how many people make it.
Let me ask you about your path into entrepreneurship. I mean, it sounds like you've always been developing things kind of on your own. It's kind of a passion that you have. Was entrepreneurship a path that you had prior to your daughter, or did it kind of become your life afterwards?
Originally, I wanted to be an architect. And in probably around, I don't remember exactly, around 7th or 8th grade, I actually started drawing house plans for people. And I would make, maybe $1,000, $1,200 a year doing that, which, 7th, 8th grade, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
As old as I am, that was a lot of money. So, yeah, I've always been kind of, like that. My dad was never somebody who would buy us many toys or anything. But if it was ever anything we needed to build something, he would always help you out. And I kind of came on my dad's side of the family. It just many generations of people who built stuff. So that's kind of how it all got started.
You're a problem solver, and at the end of the day, an entrepreneur is successful when they can solve a problem. Then they got to be able to sell it. Naturally, is what you kind of learned in your first round there, where you only sold 40,000 units, and then all of a sudden, a small little change here and there, and it kind of blows up. If you are able to kind of give some advice either to the younger version of yourself or to entrepreneurs who are just getting started, what advice would you give them in the entrepreneurial space, creating things, people who maybe want to see themselves on Shark Tank one day? What advice would you give to them if they're getting started today?
I actually tried out for Shark Tank one time. I would just say, I was, right or wrong, I've just always had the attitude that if I thought of the idea, it can be done. So I've just never, in a way, I would always love it when people would tell me that can't be done. Not that I was trying to prove them wrong, but it was just kind of motivation to me to figure it out. So I guess my advice would be is, if you have a product idea or a business idea, just believe in it, 100% and pursue it. And, with the internet and now, I'm just getting into using this AI, and there's so many tools out there that we have to, figure things out and solve problems and figure out how to market and all that kind of stuff.
You and I come from a different time. If we didn't know something, it was really difficult to get the answer. Whereas today, the answer is just right there at the palm of your hands. There should be no reason that anything is stopping you. You're also in a unique situation where you're creating a product. You stumble across mistakes often. It just teaches you okay, that didn't work. Let's move on to the next thing. But mistakes can be very limiting to a lot of people if they don't value them as a lesson learned. What are some of the greatest lessons you learned and some of the mistakes you've made in entrepreneurship that kind of have shaped the way you go into a new project today?
I think one thing is, and I know it's probably some people have egos and they're afraid to admit it, but I've never had that. And I've never been afraid that I don't know something. As far as this business, I know where my strong point of the business is. the business side of the business isn't as strong of a thing for me. So it's just a matter of trying to find the right people to help me with that side of the business. But I don't know. I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, no, I mean, you did and you didn't, right? The strengths and weaknesses that you kind of came across, it's really difficult for, I think, an entrepreneur, for people in general, to be that self-aware, to understand what they know, what they don't know, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and then kind of find that help that comes along to kind of supplement those weaknesses. Um, did you ever struggle with anything when it came to bringing on the right people? Because I'd imagine there's people who can supplement some of those weaknesses, but not necessarily as an advantage in your business.
I've stumbled upon a lot of those people. And I think the more you go through it, unfortunately, many years ago, I had a consultant and he just kind of, I forgot what it was. We had something that ended up costing me a lot of money. And he goes, you know what? You just need to look at that as part of your college education. It was a lesson learned. And I think the more you go through business, it really is a learning curve. In the beginning, you'll hire any consultant that will tell you, oh, we're going to grow your business for you. Do they ever, do they do it? Most of the times they don't. So I think after a while, you start learning, okay, I need to ask this person this question and, okay, give me what your goals are going to be. And let's put some timelines to this and, start holding a little more accountable. That was something I don't think I did in the beginning, is held them accountable for what they were doing. But yeah.
Yeah, managing people is a difficult task
Very
to
much.
do. And managing them, motivating them, and then guiding them in the proper direction. Whew, that's the golden I guess pathway for the CEO. That's what a CEO should be able to do, and it's something that not all CEOs have, and we got to learn as we kind of go through. I also love the there's the business success, but then there's also the success of the product. So when you have a product like yours that is helping people with physical ailments, helping them get in a better pathway, it's almost I guess much more appreciative of what you're doing because you see those success stories kind of happen. Do you have any of those case studies that you can share with us where you have people that are just in immense pain or struggling with something, utilize your product and get that benefit out of it?
Yeah, I mean, I've had this company for almost 20 years now, or I started it almost 20 years ago. And I have so many stories of people, what our products have done for people. I have to, say it is probably one of the most rewarding things of this business is, yeah, sure, it's great to have a business and pay your bills and, experience life maybe, a little bit nicer and better. But, the fact knowing that you're doing it and you're helping people is just, it's been amazing. We've had people, one of our earlier products, we had great success with people with Lyme disease. We still sell the product, but that's our Onic Detox Foot Bath. I know countless people with Lyme disease, we're always, I'd get emails, thankful, your product's so great, it's helping me. Then we got into the red light, kind of the same thing. A lot of people, with weight loss, fat loss. We've had lots of great stories of people, in intense pain, experiencing, great relief, maybe going from a 10 in pain down to like a 1 to 3, enjoying life much better. We've had some people, one thing, red light is also very good for wound healing. We've had a number of people like with burns and, major surgical scars and stuff, that we've heard back from, telling us how great our product helped them out for that. So yeah, it's been great that way.
You said that now you have a lot more competition. There are a lot more people creating and using the red light therapy. But there's a reason why your customers come back to you. There's a reason why they purchase from you, your product itself. What do you think it is that your company does best? Why do you think those customers come to you versus the rest of the competition?
I think for me, I'm just, I like to know I have a good product. It's very important to me. And I'm not just jumping in the red light and, bandwagon to make a quick buck because it's becoming incredibly popular. So I've put a lot of time and effort into designing and developing our bed. And red light, if you think of like I don't know if you've ever used a pressure washer, but the water comes out of the nozzle at an angle. If you need to have something that's really stubborn, you got to get that nozzle right up against it because that's where the water is the most powerful. It's the same thing with red light. So the red light comes out of the LED diodes at a 120-degree angle. So the light is its strongest right at the source of the LED diode. And what we've discovered is, I don't think many of our competitors realize that, or maybe they just don't care. So they're, putting out these products, but the problem is the light is can be anywhere from 1 inch to a foot away from the client. So they're just not getting the strength of the light like in our bed. So our bed is designed, when the canopy comes down, it's laying literally right on top of the person, and then they're laying on a bed of lights. So they're all within maybe 1/4 of an inch to a 32nd of an inch away from the light source. And that is incredibly important. So we've actually gone out, we have a special meter that you use to measure what is called milliwatts centimeter squared. It's kind of like if I told you my car has 500 horsepower, you would understand what that means. Well, in red light, it's milliwatts centimeter squared. And so what we've also discovered is a lot of our competitors are reporting the milliwatts centimeter squared off of their diode in its raw state. So they're measuring directly on top of a diode and getting these high numbers. On our bed, if we did that, we would get 128 milliwatts centimeter squared. But then when we put a 1/32 inch piece of plastic, clear plastic over it for the barrier between the light and the person, it drops all the way down, into the 70s. So because of the design of our bed, we're able to use thinner plastic, whereas the competitors, their plastic is a structural member because it's supporting the person laying on it. So they're using like 1/8 inch thick plastic. And when we put an 1/8 inch thick piece of plastic on our diode, it drops all the way down to 31. Then if you add just like 1/4, maybe a 1/2 inch gap, that'll drop down into the low teens, into the single digits. So what we've discovered is a lot of our competitors who are marketing saying they're 85 to even as high as 150 milliwatts centimeter squared, going out and putting the meter directly on top of the plastic where the contact with the body is, they're all in the low teens to the single digits. And research shows that you should be between 30 to 100 to get an effective session out of it.
Let me ask you about those sessions because, obviously the amount that you're getting is going to vary based on the product that you use. But how often should somebody be coming in for a session, and where do you go to have these sessions? Is this a product that's at home, or is this a product that they go to a hospital, to a gym? Like, where do they utilize it?
A lot of our clients are like chiropractors, spas. Since COVID, now spas are becoming the biggest market for us. We, being in Las Vegas, we're fortunate. We have some great spas down on the Strip. So we've gotten into a few of those, more coming. Now we've kind of caught the attention of some major chains. So we have a major high-end luxury chain that is now interested. We're launching a program where we're going to do a rev share. So we'll actually place the equipment in the location at no cost to them and then share the revenue out of it. And I was quite surprised that these big companies would be interested in that, but they love it because they don't have any capital outlay on the product. They just get to start making money. So that's kind of a new program we have going. But yeah, like weight loss, gyms, again, the spas, wellness spas, anything like that. Alternative wellness is really starting to get big. And I forgot the numbers. It's like I don't know. I want to say it's like around alternative wellness is around a $2 to $3 billion industry. I could be wrong on that, but I forgot what it was. So.
And how often should a consumer come in for that kind of treatment? Is every day too much? Is it like once a month? How long is each session?
It kind of depends on what they're using it for. Somebody that's using it for weight loss, they only need about a 10-minute session because everything that's going to happen is going to happen in the first 7 or 8 minutes, and the body has done as much as it can in that session. For weight loss, they should wait about every 2 to 3 days to use it because the body needs like a day or two to recover from the first session. If they're using it for pain, muscle recovery, really you can use it every day. I mean, my sales director, he comes in and uses it every morning.
So, and what is a session like that run when you go to a spa? I mean, imagining that spas vary in pricing depending on what kind of treatments they have all over. But on average, what can the consumer expect when utilizing this?
I would answer your other question. Sessions range between 10 to 20 minutes. On our bed, we have a 10, 15, and 20-minute selection. Session prices really it is all over the place. I've heard as low as $40 a session, and like Aria down on the strip, they have a number of our beds and they charge 120. However, you're getting the use of the spa and all of the other services with it. So I guess it really kind of depends on what you're able to offer the client. But I would say probably right now the average price is around $60 to $75. Prior to COVID, it was about $120 to $125.
Yeah, but again, when you're using it at a spa, you're getting all kinds of other accessible benefits that are available at that spa, which is super cool. Now, as a business, you said you were struggling with finding team members to kind of help you grow the business aspect of it. Um, but I, but my question is more geared towards the consumer. As you create these beds, as you build that technology, is there anything that you're working on to make the experience better for the client in the long run?
Yeah, we already have a lot of that. So all of our competitors use the tanning bed design, which was great for tanning, but it's terrible for red light. The biggest reason being the distance from the diodes. But one of the other issues is if you've ever been in a tanning bed, they're kind of concave, or a lot of them are concave. So if you think of the clients for red light, they're in pain, they're overweight, elderly, trying to get in and out of that concave bed, it's tough for them. I had a woman that purchased not too long ago from us, and she told me the first time she went and used one of those, she had to crawl out the end of the bed to get out of it because she couldn't get over the side of it. So our bed is in a zero gravity design. So you're in kind of like, it almost feels like you're sitting in a recliner. So it's very comfortable to lay in. It makes it easy to get in and out of because of the design of our bed. We're ADA compliant, so people buying our bed can qualify for a $5,000 tax credit. Um, then we also incorporate what we call a frequency massage into the bed. So now when the person's in the bed, rather than just laying on a hard flat surface for 10 to 20 minutes, they're now actually have an experience, and it's a vibrational massage. It's not just a mono, vibration. It's constantly going up and down in pitch and intensity and all of that. It's helpful for the process of the red light, especially when it's being used for fat loss. But it creates the experience while they're in it, but it's also helping to oxygenate the blood. So when they get out of it, bam, they feel kind of a, burst of energy or, some energy, and they feel good. They get out of it and are like, wow, that was a great experience. And so you want them to go tell their family, their friends, oh my gosh, I did this, body balance system red light therapy bed. It was amazing. So yeah, so we already have a number of features that nobody else even has explored in the industry. But yes, I am always, being an innovator, I guess I'm always, trying to develop new things for it. So I'm currently working on a new design that will be our next generation bed, but it's probably 6 months out from being ready to go.
As is already sounds like a very relaxing experience that somebody's going to have if they use this red light therapy. Where do you see your company going? I mean, as a visionary, I'm sure it's always a little bit more, a little bit better, grow. As a CEO, where do you see your company going?
This new division that we're launching, the rev share side, I'm very excited about that. And because it's not really being done much in the industry, we're kind of want to hit it really hard and in a way kind of disrupt the industry. But we're targeting more the big chains. We have a contract that we're just finalizing with a company that has a little over 100 locations across the country. Early negotiations with the hotel chain. So that company will, technically be buying the product from Body Balance System. So, but as in a whole, right now my goal is to get both companies built up and hopefully sell in about 2 to 3 years. And then off to my next project. I have another company that I want to get going.
That sounds like a visionary for sure. Always working on that next project. If people want to find out more about the red light therapy, they want to find out more about the beds that you have to offer, how can they do that?
They could visit us on our website at bodybalancesystem.com. Or our social is Facebook is Body Balance System Official on Facebook, and Instagram is Body Balance System LV.
Perfect. Michael, thank you very much for coming on the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, anything that can help with some of that pain or some of that fat loss, these are some good things. Plus, it sounds like a really good experience that they're offering, especially with the vibrations and the massage. I mean, that's exactly what you're looking for. Michael, thank you very much for being on the program. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Thank you.
It's over. Go home. Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast. But not just any podcast. Podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to www.businessbros.biz to get started today.